Help Me Mama.
Hi everybody, this is Emily for Help Me Mama, and today I'm going to do a video about weaning and some troubleshooting things that might happen. My last video was on weaning in general and my regular principle that I use for weaning, my method. So if you have not watched that, I definitely suggest that you watch that first because that's sort of the general all-encompassing one. And this is just the two main problems that I usually encounter and others often encounter with weaning. So two problems that happen are your baby's really clingy. All of a sudden, they're like, they want to be held all the time, and they're really whiny about it, and they don't want the sippy cup, and they're really like, Mom, okay. And the solution, I think, to this is that sometimes, so to go back to the problem, I think what happens often when we're weaning is like all of a sudden you stop breastfeeding and you're like, here's a sippy cup. And your kid is maybe old enough to be, crawling or sitting with the cup and holding their own cup. And so, or if they're walking, you kind of think well, go ahead and drink the cup by yourself, But what I think goes along with breastfeeding is cuddle time. So when you're nursing, you're also cuddling your baby. So if you're trying to wean, and then all of a sudden you get a sippy cup or a bottle and no cuddle time. And so I think that it doesn't always click in our heads at what they're really wanting when they're saying, they want you. They might not really be wanting to specifically nurse, but more they just want the snuggle time. So the solution to the problem of clinginess is to snuggle during your feeding time. So if usually you would breastfeed before their morning nap, and then all of a sudden you're giving them just a sippy cup and letting them play and then putting them down for nap, what they probably want is some snuggle time. And I think that we don't really think of that because it's not sometimes you forget. I mean, it's not readily, what they want isn't always obvious to us. And sometimes just what they want is that snuggle time. So they might not be completely just wanting to nurse. They might just want to be snuggled while they have their milk. So that's the number one problem that I usually find with breastfeeding and weaning. The other thing is that they're too slow. They're not really good at the bottle yet, and they're kind of awkward with it, and they haven't really learned how. And I have sort of two solutions to this one. One is to sort of take a step back, and before you start weaning, maybe a month before, start to introduce whatever you're going to use, whether it's a bottle or a sippy cup, and see what they get used to. I would definitely suggest going over to a friend's house who already has some sippy cups before you go out and buy some that maybe will or will not work. See what they like. See what kind of cup they will actually suck from or what kind of bottle they actually like and can use. It took me a couple of tries. So my kids all like different things as far as sippy cup or bottle when they were first weaning, and also my nephew, he likes the big kid sippy cup that my sons use now that they're toddlers, where my daughter, she would not go for that. She doesn't know how to get it to work. So you kind of have to find out what's good for your baby. And the other thing, which is related to that, is that you just need to practice more often. So I would say back up, practice more before you start weaning. And then while you're weaning, say you're like, I'm in the process, I don't want to go back and start all over again, just offer the bottle at more times during the day. You don't have to do the snuggling and feeding them per se, but when you're sitting, you sit them down in their high chair, you just put the bottle up there and they can play with it and start to figure it out on their own. So at every meal, even if you're not expecting them to fully eat, I would put the bottle or the cup in front of them just so they can kind of play with it and start to figure out how it works. Now, naturally, that might take a longer while, but also every day you're going to be sitting with them, tipping that bottle or that cup up so that they do actually get something out of it. So between the practicing and then the actual feeding, where you're kind of forcing them to eat out of the sippy cup or the bottle. So the last thing that I would do if they were just not getting how to use the bottle very well and just kind of awkward with it, is that I would try different sippy cups or different bottles. Sometimes your kid is going to be really too big for a bottle anymore, and those holes in the bottle are just not very much, and they could be much more efficient with an older kid sippy cup with bigger holes in it, or even the sort of biggest kid sippy cups that have one big hole in it, something like that. So I definitely say try different things, try the soft ones, try the hard ones, and that's that's also like in the preparation for weaning stage, you kind of want to find something, you know, if you haven't started yet, find something that your kid seems to like really get, you know, and really be able to use before you start. They're not always going to just like click with a certain sippy cup, but if you can find one, do that. And if you didn't find one before you started weaning, try different ones during the process. And I would definitely suggest go to a friend's house and say, can I try out your sippy cups with my baby? And I'm sure, you know, they would be fine with that. So anyways, these are the two biggest problems. And this one I think is the biggest one, the clinginess, because they need to snuggle with you. Just because they're not breastfeeding anymore doesn't mean that they don't want to snuggle. So hope this helps. This is Emily for Help Me Mama. So please subscribe and like and visit us on Facebook. Thank you so much.
Help me, Mama!